We're coming in. So here is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Meal Planning 101, macronutrient composition of meals, venues to meal plan, prepackaged foods, and label reading, and then I'll give you a little action item checklist. So let's start with that meal planning. I'm curious if any of you would like to share, what does meal planning mean to you? Do any of you have any foods that you like to prep, or what does that look like? I know, Rick, I know you prep sometime. How do you prep?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, it's the only way this works for me is if I do this, because if not, it's just what's in the fridge, what can I eat quick and go. So the meal prepping is probably, of everything we've ever talked about or done, is the most important thing that makes this work for me. But I don't know. I've done all kinds of different ones, you know. I mean, from the breakfast, like casseroles, you know, so it's in the fridge, and then in the morning you get up, you don't have to fry eggs or, you know, make omelets, or, you know, everything's there. You cut a section, you throw it in the microwave, and 3 minutes later you have your breakfast, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a good one. And I've, you know, I mean, I've done several of the ones that you had. Other ones I just came up with myself. Last week I made, you buy some of these chicken breasts that are like really huge, you know, and I kind of cut them into thinner slices. And what I do last week, I just got a casserole dish, put some, I seasoned the chicken with some Italian seasoning, garlic, salt, little, you know, whatever. And then threw some tomato, crushed tomatoes in the bottom, layered the chicken in with, you know, alternating some spices and chicken and some of the tomato.
That sounds amazing.
You know, and then threw a few veggies in there too, and then just threw it in the oven for, you know, an hour or whatever at a higher temperature. And I did sear the chicken first, so it wouldn't take so long to cook. And then I put it in the oven, covered it with foil, and it stayed really nice and tender. And you know, I had, you know, basically had meals for all week. I think there's still some left out there. So, but things like that, it took me maybe 40 minutes to prep it, and then an hour, 15 minutes to cook it, and then it's in the fridge for whenever I need it. But
okay, so sometimes you batch cook proteins and sometimes you cook full meals, it sounds like.
I do, yes.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot to be considered when you're thinking about meal planning, and it can look different for everyone. So in order to put a plan in place for choosing a balanced meal, there's a few things we should consider. And those things are the what. So taking an assessment of what you're currently doing in regards to your nutrition, what are you currently eating and what would you like to eat? And we'll get into kind of what a balanced meal looks like. Where are you getting these foods? So are you going to be getting these grab and go from a restaurant, fast food, at home prep, or maybe like a meal prep company or something pre-prepared? When are you going to set aside time to prep your foods? You know, when I'm working with someone, this is definitely a question that we talk about, because the reality is it does take time, but ultimately it saves you time, but it does require a little planning to fit that into your schedule. And I always say failing to plan is planning to fail, right? And like Rick said, when he has those things readily available to him, he's able to be successful with what he's eating and what he chooses versus just grabbing whatever's available to him, fast food, maybe when you're on the road, or what's in the fridge or the pantry that's convenient to you. And then, of course, the last question is the who are you prepping for? Is it just for you? Is it for you and your partner? Are kids eating this, 2 family members, whatever? So these are the questions that you want to consider when you think about meal planning. And these are a couple of those different methods that I mentioned before. So maybe you're just cooking a standard dinner every night for your family that you cook today and you eat today. Maybe you're batch cooking, which can be really helpful, which is when you make a very large amount and then divide it into individual portions to be frozen or refrigerated and eaten over time. You can do individually portion meals, or you can use ready to cook ingredients. Personally, I like to cook a couple different recipes a week and just make large portions of those recipes and eat them for leftovers, put them in the Tupperware, eat them for lunch, for many, many days. Well, like 3 or 4 days, I guess I should say, but that's my preferred style. But I think, it's valid. Whatever you prefer, whatever works for you is the best solution for you. Why meal prep? I think this is a really important question to reflect on. And I know you all have a why, or else you wouldn't be here today. Why is this important to you? Why do you want to meal prep? Maybe you've been struggling with making the right choices or what to make, or maybe you want to save a little bit of money so you're not spending so much money going out to eat, or maybe you want to save the time. I mean, if you're going out to lunch every day and grabbing food, maybe that's taking an hour of your time versus just heating something up in the microwave at work that you already have on your desk. So now that we've talked about some of the basics, we're going to talk about the macronutrient composition of your meals and how that can help you create a balanced and satisfying plate. Just FYI, guys, I'm moving through these pretty fast because I want to keep this as close as possible to that half-hour time slot. But of course, you're welcome to chime in if you have any thoughts or questions or anything to add. So I've categorized the food groups into 4 different groups to acknowledge how our foods support our bodies. Build our proteins to help build lean muscle mass. And when I'm talking about protein, I like to say less legs, the better, meaning leaner protein sources, starting with plant-based proteins like beans or lentils and seafood, then poultry like chicken or turkey, and then choose a little less of the red meats like the beef and the pork, just not as often. And we want to make sure we're aiming to include some type of protein source in every single meal and change it up. You can use plant-based proteins, you can be animal-based proteins, you could do dairy or eggs, whatever you like, but it's good to mix it up. And then ideally we want to choose grilled, baked, or broiled sources over fried sources so that we can get those fats from other areas. And that's the same reason why we're trying to choose a little less of the red meats, because rather than having the red meats that include a lot more fat in them, we get our fat from that protect category where we can get some really healthy fats that we'll talk about in a minute. The fuel category is our carbohydrates. They fuel our brain and our body, and they fuel intense activities like exercise. And when we're speaking about carbohydrates and how many we need, that depends on our goals and the intensity and duration of your daily activity. So if you want to lose weight, you might need a little less carbs, but if you are highly active and you're exercising, or maybe part of your weight loss plan is a lot of exercise, you do want to make sure you're including those carbohydrates, or you're going to struggle to have the fuel and the energy to be active. When choosing the best carbohydrate sources, you want to look out for those whole grains like brown rice, oatmeal, and then avoid words in those nutrition labels that say like enriched or refined. We want things to be as minimally processed as possible. And some good sources of high fiber carbohydrates that are less refined might be squash or sweet potatoes, peas, corn, legumes, and fruit. And then protect are those fats that I mentioned before. Fats, I know they used to get a bad rap, but now we know after much research and time that fat is so valuable. Fat does not make you fat. It contains really powerful nutrients and antioxidants for cellular repair of organs and joints and hair. And it helps keep us full longer by releasing energy more slowly. And for the women in the room, healthy fats are really important to regulating your hormones. So you always want to make sure you're getting some healthy fats in your diet. And it also helps aid absorption of vitamins A, D, E, K. Those are our fat soluble vitamins. So our body physically cannot absorb those vitamins unless we're consuming some healthy fats in our diet. And we want to eat fats that give back. So like I said, rather than getting your fat from those meats or less healthful sources, we want to choose those omega-3 fatty acids that are found in sources like salmon and tuna, avocado, olive oil, chia seeds, and flax seeds, which have a bunch of benefits, but especially decreasing inflammation and providing mental clarity and brain boost a little bit. And then the last category, of course, are fruits and vegetables. This is our prevent category. Vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, enzymes, and fiber are all found in these. And fiber is also something that makes you feel more full and satisfied in a meal, which is why it's really important to include vegetables among all these other reasons. But we want to eat the rainbow. And the reason why we say that is because different fruits and vegetables have different benefits. And to give you a couple examples, purple foods like eggplants and grapes promote microcirculation, like in your hands, while green foods like leafy greens, avocado, and kiwi rejuvenate musculature and bone. And then white foods like banana and garlic support your immune system. So if you up your color intake, you're going to get more benefits overall. Your body's going to function more optimally. And of course, I always say food first, because a lot of these benefits, while vitamins do provide some benefits, and some of those benefits, you don't get all of the same effects from just simply taking a vitamin. So you really want to get your foods and your fruits and vegetables from a food source first. And this is what the typical the macronutrient makeup of a standard American diet is. Over here on the left, we have 15% protein, 30% fat, and 55% carbohydrate. So where most Americans are eating a really carbohydrate-rich diet while not eating a lot of protein. And over on the right is what I generally recommend for people that I work with. Your carbohydrates, you want to have them in the 30 to 45% range. Fats can go as low as 20% for men, but women, I say no lower than 25 to 30%. And then protein way up to 35%. And I know that's a big difference there. But the reason for this is that sarcopenia, or muscle loss, occurs at 1 to 2% per year after the age of 30, which is pretty young. And also our ability to process and store that same amount of protein we were eating decreases as well. So when we have less protein intake and we have less muscle mass, this increases our risk of injury. And more importantly, for those of us here that care about our metabolism, it decreases our metabolism. The more muscle mass you have, the more your metabolism is faster, right? So this is why generally as we age and the weight starts creeping up and we see that we're gaining weight and we're not sure why, because we're eating the same amount and we're doing the same things, it's because you have less muscle mass. So keep maintaining that high protein intake, as well as doing some resistance training, is the best ways to fight against that sarcopenia. Oops. And here are your portion sizes. So now that you know kind of what to add to your plate, it's important to know what a portion size of each category looks like. So over there in the prevent category, unlimited, you can have as many of those non-starchy vegetables as your heart desires. In the build category with the protein, the palm of your hand is a really good standard to go by. For fuel with carbs, fist, the size of your fist, which is about a half cup. And then prevent with fruits is the size of a tennis ball. So like the size of an apple, or maybe like about a half of a banana. And then with fats, it's the size of your thumb. So, like about a tablespoon of like peanut butter or olive oil for the fats. And then what should I have on my plate? So this is kind of what that looks like after, kind of going over what you want. To keep it simple, half of your plate fruits and vegetables, 1/4 quality proteins, and the remaining 1/4 for high fiber carbohydrates, and not forgetting to add in that healthy fat that we talked about. That being said, your plate might look different based on your goals and what you want to achieve. But this is just a really easy way: half your plate fruits and vegetables, 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbohydrates to go by. And here below are some examples of that. So down at the bottom of this slide, we have some examples at the top if you're unsure what goes in what category. But we have, a yogurt with some fruits and some pancakes. We have an orange with some turkey and some greens and a tortilla. We have some rice with chicken, strawberries, broccoli. So this is an example of including all those foods from all 4 categories. And here's a couple more. eggs with banana, peppers and toast, spaghetti squash, like a beef meat sauce, cherries and bread, and then this little Mexican plate over here. So this is just examples of what that can look like in the most simplified form possible. I know for some of you, you like simple, this is what your plates want. You want your plates to look like. For others, it might look more like a salad with chicken on top and some chickpeas in there and some berries or whatever else you put in your salads. And then, you know, some olive oil salad dressing. Now let's talk about venues to meal plan. And by this, I mean different places and times we can meal plan and prep, and then we'll talk about utilizing more convenience items. So, you know, just to talk about how I do this personally in my life, I like to keep a list throughout the week of items I need for the following week's meals. I usually pick 2 to 3 recipes that I'm going to make the following week, so that come Sunday, I have my list of the ingredients I need for the new recipes. I have anything that I'm missing, and then I can go to the store, do my shopping and prep work and be prepared for the week to set myself up for success. Of course, there's always going to be those times where, you know, maybe you were out of town or on vacation, you didn't prepare. But occasionally I have my days where I don't prep and I grab something quick or convenient in the house. And when I do this, I try to make sure I'm doing my best to hit the fuel, build, protect, and prevent categories. You know, Rick shared a little bit about how he does his prepping. He does a lot of batch prepping. So it can look different for everyone, but these are the steps that I recommend to plan. You want to know what you want to prepare. You want to pick the right number of meals, so don't overcomplicate it. If you're picking like 10 meals, or if you're planning to do a different breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, oh my gosh, that is way too much. That's too much. And if you're new to this, I say start small. You know, one of the people I'm working with right now, health coaching, her goal right now is to pick 2 recipes and prep them on Sunday for the week. You know, that's her starting goal. Maybe she'll grow from there. But for now, that's her goal that she's been doing, and it's been really manageable for her. So, you know, just keep your experience in mind, and, you know, start small. And then of course you can always grow from there, but just don't overdo it and overwhelm yourself. Of course, know what you already have in your kitchen or pantry. So if you know you have chicken, okay, we're looking up chicken recipes so that doesn't go to waste. And know what you're missing and make that list. It doesn't have to be a written list. I like to use my notepad and my phone. I share my list with my fiance so that like we can both see the list and add to it or subtract, which is really convenient. There's also a lot of different apps out there that you can use for this, which I'll go over later in the presentation. But so use this principle and design a meal, you know, whether you want to write it down on a piece of paper or kind of in your head, think about it right now. If we're prepping for next week, today's Friday, maybe on Sunday, you're going to do some meal prep for the following week. What are 2 dinners and 1 lunch that you want to make? So maybe 1 lunch, I'm going to do like a chickpea salad. I love doing chickpea salads. They're so easy. So I have my protein is my chickpeas. My grain, I'm going to add some sourdough bread croutons in there. And then my veggies is, of course, the lettuce, the cucumber, the tomato, and I can make that last all week long for sure. I'll get like, when I prep that, I'll get like 3 heads of romaine and a head of iceberg and chop it all up and put it in a bowl and eat it throughout the week. Some dinner examples, maybe you're doing chicken with rice and bell peppers and some romaine and some salsa. It's an easy meal. Maybe you're doing, I got ground turkey meat this week, so I'll probably prep something with that over the weekend, probably ground turkey taco meat bowls, or maybe I'm doing like more of a pasta type thing. I'm not sure, but this is a great way to get started, just planning like this. And over on the right, you can see an example of maybe how you could write it out. I used to write out all of my meals for the week, but I don't feel the need to do that anymore, but for you, it might be helpful. And always, I think one more thing I should say is never prep things you don't like. If you don't like it, you're not going to want to eat it. So make sure you're prepping things that you know you'll enjoy. Now, when you get to the store, bring a list. So bring your list that you made and stick to it. Do not go grocery shopping hungry. This is like very basic tips. And then, of course, if you're someone that tends to get sucked into buying things that you don't need, highly recommend doing the grocery pickup. I know Giant Eagle does it for free. A lot of grocery stores do it for free, where you order online and just pick up at the store. You just open up your trunk and they put it in there. Or there's even grocery delivery service like Instacart. And then of course you can check the unit prices if you're trying to be price conscious to get the best deal. These are some apps that you can use to help you out with this. A couple that I'll point out are MyFitnessPal. This is something that a lot of my clients use to track their macros, their macro intake. You can scan the label of any food item, your protein bar, anything with a label, and enter it in so that you can see the protein, the calories, the carbs, all that stuff. And you can even add food from like chain restaurants. So if I went to McDonald's today and had a Big Mac, I can search Big Mac and put it in there and log it in my app so that I can see what my intake is. Yucca is a really awesome app. If you're someone who's just not really sure what's healthy and what's not, same thing, scan the label. It tells you about the item and if there's a healthier or better for you alternative. And then at the top there, Meal Line, Paprika, Plan to Eat. These are some apps that help you with the recipes and the meal planning portion. That being said, also as your health coach and dietitian, I can also make meal plans for you as well. So if you're looking for a meal plan to be made or your macros to be calculated, I can also do that for you. So in a perfect world, it would be great to have everything prepped and prepared fresh, but I know that's not always realistic. And we need to be prepared with some optimal prepackaged foods for those times when we're busy and we run out of time to prepare our own meals and snacks. I'm curious if any of you have any prepackaged foods that work for you, any protein bars or protein shakes, or just like things that you like to use for grab and go. Do any of you have any that you would share? Maybe something you grab at gas stations or grocery stores when you don't have time.
Oatmeal cookies.
Oatmeal cookies. Those sound delicious. Well, I'll tell you that, I gotta say, I'm impressed lately. Gas stations have stepped up their game. I've been noticing a lot more healthy items at the gas stations and even CVS too. They've gotten a lot more better quality options in there. I love things that are like individually portion size, which is great. And I'll show you some examples of that next. Here are some different options for each category. For protein, we've got tuna packets, rotisserie chicken. Oh my gosh, lifesaver. Rotisserie chicken can be added to your soups, sandwiches, wraps, on a rice bowl. Oh my gosh, it's just the best if you're quick and short on time. Deli meats, shrimp, hard-boiled eggs, also a lifesaver. And they even sell the hard-boiled eggs at a lot of the gas stations now too. Yogurt, protein powder, bars, bites, edamame. I don't know if you guys have ever had edamame. I am obsessed with edamame. It's so good. Then the carbohydrates, we have some brown rice cups, pita bread, English muffins, all of these. Some fats, we've got peanut butter packs, nuts, single serving fruits and vegetable packs, the steamable vegetable packs, so easy and convenient. They even have the steamable protein pasta packs now in that Steam Fresh brand. The grocery store really has come a long way. And I've even also seen, I don't think I pasted it anywhere in this presentation, but they even have like frozen meals, kind of like healthy choice meals, but like a little better, less processed version that I'm very impressed by at the grocery store now. And here are some examples of my personal favorite convenience items. I love these Kodiak cakes, blueberry protein waffles. So quick, so easy. A turkey jerky bar, something like that for grab and go that you can even keep in your car. The peanut butter packs, the Orgain protein drinks are great. And there's a bunch of other brands that are lovely too. These barbells, protein bars. So these are all amazing options. Smoked salmon over here on the left. This is the exact one that they sell at Costco. It's so nice. I love smoked salmon. It's a great high protein snack. Delicious. Tuna packs, chicken packs. They even have canned salmon, and canned salmon is not bad for you. It's actually good for you. It's higher in calcium too. So These are just some quick, easy, convenient options.
I have
And
a
then, of course, there's,
question.
what
Caitlin,
was
I have a
that?
question. It's Jennifer. Hi, I have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So you have on there deli meats. I always thought that those were just so bad for you. So I was really surprised to see that.
Yeah, so, I would, my 2 cents here would just be try to get the kind that doesn't have the sulfates and the sulfites. So the more like organic and non-preserved meats are fine. But the standard deli meats do have a lot of preservatives. That being said, I say take everything with a grain of salt, right? So if you're eating a donut or the deli meat's the better option. But if I could have you eating like pure organic chicken breast, even better. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think when you choose the not sulfite free, organic, nitrate free, that's the better option for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And here are some meal kit options. Clean Eats, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I tell everyone who will listen about it because I think it's amazing. It's located in Cuyahoga Falls for those that are in the Akron area. And it's a they have like lunches there, like you can go there and get lunch. It's fast casual, but they also have these refrigerators with like meal prep kits that you can grab and go. So you can just like buy 5 for the week and heat them up and those are your lunches, and they're macro friendly, they're healthy, they're a really good option. So if you need something quick and easy. Unrefined is also local to Cleveland. For anyone, I think they deliver up to 35 miles outside of Cleveland. Local meal prep service, everything's fresh and refrigerated. And then the rest of these are the kind that are delivered to your door. HelloFresh, Green Chef, Hungry Root, Sunbasket. Those are just really quick, convenient options. If you don't want to come up with a recipe and shop yourself, it's an alternative. Some are better than others. Obviously, make your educated choices. Obviously, I'd always prefer that you're making your foods yourself so you know exactly what's going into it. But, this is the next best thing when you have that convenience that you need. And here are just some examples of grab and go options. You're going out to lunch today, you need something. Jimmy John's, they have the lettuce wrap sandwiches. Chipotle has some good options. Subway has a protein bowl now. Chick-fil-A even has like grilled chicken nuggets. Starbucks, oh, that's one of my go-tos I meant to say before. They're little quiche bites. They have egg white quiche bites. They're so good. And they're very healthy, like pure protein with some veggies and stuff in there. So if you're ever on the run and you need a quick, convenient, like fast food option, quiche bites from Starbucks, highly recommend. And, here's what I say when you're trying to pick your convenience foods, because I know it can be tough. Read your nutrition labels. So you can get an idea of how they fit into your balance plan. So trying to look for greater than 3 grams of fiber, if it's a carb-rich food, healthy fat sources, mostly unfatted, unsaturated fats. So those like olive oil, peanut butter, those healthy fats that we talked about. And if it has a lot of ingredients in there that you can't read or promote or pronounce, then it's probably better to pick a different item when possible. We like to just keep it simple. I think nutrition can be so overcomplicated. Just literally keep it simple, as close to its most natural source as possible. It can be helpful to understand your calorie and macro goals. And like I said, I can calculate these for you just to kind of know where things fit in, right? So if you've got a protein bar that's like 600 calories and that's like half of your daily intake, if you're a smaller person, then maybe that's not the best choice for your needs. Maybe it is. It's up to you. Maybe you just want to eat 2 meals a day or whatever. And then many prepackaged foods can fit into your balanced meal plan, but may only be sufficient in one of your macronutrients. So make sure to mix and match in order to fill the gaps with other foods. Maybe you're not just having peanut butter, you're having it with an apple. So you're getting some protein there, some healthy fats, and some produce. Or maybe you're having some grapes with cheese or something like that to kind of give yourself some variety. And here are some changes to our recent food labels to be looking out for. More realistic serving sizes. So I know in the past, like certain serving sizes, it would be like 1/3 of a candy bar. No one, you're eating the whole candy bar, I know. So more realistic serving sizes, larger text. So always remember, I know that not everyone knows how to read a food label, but always remember to multiply the calories by the number of servings in the container if that's what you plan on eating. So if I'm having a can of soup and it says 2 servings and the calorie amount there is 200 calories, well, the whole can is actually 400 calories, and all those numbers below need to be multiplied as well. And then something else that's really wonderful about the new food labels is that added sugar line is there now. So, for example, if you're having fruit juice, if they added sugar into the fruit juice, you will know because it will say however many grams of added sugar, because that can get confusing if, orange juice naturally has sugar. But sometimes some brands might add additional sugar, which would be kind of a red flag to look out for. So these are just some quick, simple changes to be on the lookout for. And as we wrap it up, I want to give you a summary of our action items. And I know I might already be a minute over, so I'll keep this, I'm 2 minutes over, keep this short and sweet. Some of the things we can start doing to plan on our meals and snacks and optimize our nutrition game plan is start simple with 1 or 2 of these action items to help you get started. And once you've accomplished them, maybe choose a couple more. So take an evaluation of the current types of foods you're eating. Do these foods help you reach your goals? Consider where you are eating. And if you find yourself eating out most meals of the week, try to plan and prep meals for at least 3 days, 1 week, and aim for the whole week if you want more of a challenge. You can prep snacks for work and dedicate a drawer or an area at your desk. You can keep nutritious and shelf-stable snacks to avoid heading to the vending machine or candy bar when hunger strikes. Mix and match different food groups to have a variety in your meals and snacks, and aim for at least 3 food groups out of the fuel, build, protect, and prevent for meals of at least 2 different categories of snacks. And don't be afraid to buy prepackaged foods. I think that's probably a takeaway you're not expecting here. I think, like I said to Jennifer, at the end of the day, maybe you have a protein bar that has a couple ingredients that aren't the best, but it's probably better for you than eating the fast food or the donut or something like that. So, you have to look at these food items with what's it gonna ultimately get me to a better place than where I am now. So maybe it's not 1000% healthy to start, but it's a step in the right direction, and any step in the right direction is a good step to take. So yeah, don't be afraid to try those prepackaged foods like the tuna or the yogurt or the nut packs and then, when you go to the grocery store, read those labels, look at the types of fats, the carbohydrates. Is there that added sugar I talked about? Is there the fiber content I touched on? And protein in your snacks and meals too. So some protein bars, for example, are glorified candy bars. They might have 10, 20 grams of added sugar, and they're still 200 calories, and they only have 5 grams of protein. I'm that's a candy bar. That's not a protein bar. So read your labels so that you can make the most educated choices. You could try picking a meal each day of the week to have at least 3 different colorful vegetables, a lean protein, and a quality fat, and a high fiber carbohydrate. And that's really what we're doing right now with the Healthy Plate Challenge. For those of you that are a part of it, the goal is just to pick 1 healthy plate a day and, make it a balanced plate so that you can have that 1 healthy meal and feel successful. And of course, got to give myself a plug. I'm a coach and I'm here to support you in the journey, because sometimes we kind of fall off the ladder, and I'm here to help you stay on that ladder. So that is it. I whipped through that. So I'm here to answer any questions, but I know I'm over time. So for those of you that joined me today, thank you so much. It was great to have you, and I hope you learned something. And of course, I'll be sharing this presentation via emails because I know I whipped through it fast. So otherwise, you are free to go, and will hang out here for a couple minutes to answer any questions you might have. Bye, Ruben.